Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a closer look at the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Year 2 Deluxe. This is the red book, the first one being green. So let's take a closer look at the book itself, the build and the sort of art and things, and then we'll come back and discuss my thoughts on Year 2. So as with Year 1, we have a very similar look for Year 2. This time round it's the Red Ranger Jason with his helmet rather than the Green Ranger's helmet. We've got Year 2, the spines match up, but this time we've got the Tyrannosaurus power ring on the side and craters down the side here, and again similar sort of look on the back here. Splitting the book itself, it rises up really well, it's sewn bound, so that's been good. So we have a foreword from Austin St. John, which is our original Red Ranger from the show. There's a lot in these books, so it's kind of hard to remember sometimes the order of how it all kind of went down. There's, as I say, quite a chunk of kind of backstories or side stories, I guess, in here overall. If we skim to show you how much that is. So this is the afterword and cover gallery. So if we compare this, as I say now, there's much more kind of, obviously, extra kind of content in the book compared to the cover gallery. So if you were to compare this to my first video where, I see this section was much larger in the back of the book, I'm quite happy that even if these stories aren't necessarily the best stories, it's good to have more content rather than, you know, as I say, just lots of covers. And there's lots of variety in here and backstories. This sort of Goldar sections are just awesome, and some of these artists are just, yeah, awesome. That's a really dark story. I see that's around the guy who does the doll making stuff in that for Rita. That was a really dark story. And then in the back of the book we've got, as I say, some more covers, but not quite as much as in kind of the previous one, which is good, because, as I say, I felt like it was a bit of a waste of space, the sheer volume that they had in that previous one. I enjoyed this story, I think, a lot more than the first book, partly because I guess I was back into the characters now, so I kind of knew who I was reading, I had the kind of, you know, the pace of kind of how things were going, how things kind of felt, but also because I felt that the complete book came together a bit better than the previous one. To skip over the main story, I guess, to begin with, and just talk about the sort of back content, there's probably somewhere in the region of sort of maybe 8 or more sort of side stories or extra stories in the back of the book, and then there's I believe a sort of a Bulk and Skull sort of story as well. The side stories in this book, though, despite the fact that not all of them are written by Kyle Higgins, do flesh out the characters really well. So we've got a story on and I'm going to butcher any names and things here, so just, you know, be aware of that. Our main sort of doll maker guy who works for Rita, we get a kind of a backstory on him and how he tries to kind of perfect a doll, I guess, of his wife. We get a backstory on Goldar and how he becomes Rita's kind of right hand, kind of in a way. We get a few different stories on, I forget, there's various different kind of ones, and there's one on the new sort of Psycho Green Ranger, which I don't want to spoil the story of, but that's an interesting kind of tie-in. And just a few different kind of things there. There are a couple of side stories that I didn't enjoy as much. It's just like, you know, Trini goes on a picnic, and I'm just like, really? Didn't really need that. We learn about other sort of rangers in various kind of, I guess, universes or ages or times past, times future, kind of stuff like that. I don't want to give specifics of which it is that we get, but it's interesting. We get other kind of rangers kind of through things. One of the characters that we meet, Jason kind of somewhat teams up with, and I think he feels a little bit of the burden taken off of him by this other kind of character. But we learn sort of over time that that character is not really to be trusted or has their own kind of agenda, and not to, again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers at all costs, where one of our characters decides to take things into their own hands and doesn't really make it, which is kind of sad and a massive kind of cliffhanger. So I'm really looking forward to reading into Shattered Grid, and I've actually been doing a little bit of, I guess, research, recently looking into the Go-Go Power Rangers, because I believe the Go-Go Power Rangers crosses over in Shattered Grid, so as opposed to it being a full year of sort of 12 issues, I believe you normally get with a few sort of extras, it's going to be maybe like 6 and 6 and then the Shattered Grid issues as a kind of the first collected crossover, if you like. So I don't know if they're going to do the Go-Go Power Rangers year 1, if you like, as a hardcover, but I just recently found out that I don't know if it's just the cover art, but some of the art is done by Dan Mora in that book, and like, not being funny, but screw who's writing the book in the context of the book. If it's Dan Mora, I want to read it, because I just love his art. So I'm probably going to pick up those in trades, maybe the first or second trade. I don't know how many there is before it gets to the Shattered Grid book, but I'm going to look and see what the kind of details for that is, and I'll maybe do a review of those before I do the Shattered Grid kind of read. Because, yeah, I've only heard good things, and when I look on Amazon for the Go-Go Power Rangers, it's all 5 stars. So, and I believe that is more the predecessor story to the Mighty Morphing. So where Mighty Morphing starts as the Green Ranger is just kind of joining our team, I believe the Go-Go Power Rangers is the original sort of 5, just kind of doing their thing. And I don't know if they get to a point where they're fighting the Green Ranger so that we get the full build-up or not, but I'd love to read that because it'd be cool if they do. So I'm going to, as I say, look into that a bit further. This book, though, as I say, I enjoyed how the, as I say, extra issues tied into our main kind of story, and as things are kind of revealed and characters kind of go throughout, we get that kind of deepening of the drives as to why these characters did what they did. Now, I'm not sure if those were told in the TV show or not, but I just really, really enjoyed getting those, as I say, what the driving points of are a lot of bad, actually, characters, but just kind of giving them that more depth. The one thing that I still note in this book, it was the same in the other one, is that the sort of bulk and skull sort of extra stuff in the back just sucks. It doesn't depth their characters in any way, it doesn't make them feel any more relatable, it's just slapstick crap. And considering these books are somewhat aimed at sort of maybe sort of teens through sort of 30-year-olds, because these are the people who grew up with Power Rangers, it seems really strange putting in something that slapstick that is aimed probably more at about an 8-9-year-old to kind of laugh at. So I really, really enjoyed the fact that in this particular book there was less of that, and there was less covers in the back, and we had more of these, as I say, kind of deepening stories in the back of the book. But I would just cut the Balkan Skull stuff out altogether. It's not very good, and it's just a bit of a waste of space. So definitely better use of the space in the book this time round than in the first volume, and we build more and more for the kind of characters. I can't wait till the, as I say, the big kind of shattered grid, but I'm also, I guess, a little bit saddened that I'm going to be through this, and then there's not really going to be any more hardcovers for probably at least another year, if they do that with whoever the writers are going forward, because as I say, I believe Kyle Higgins left it after the Shattered Grid kind of event. So I hope you guys have learned a little bit more about kind of these Power Rangers books overall through these sort of few videos I've done so far, and as I say, I will do more as I kind of read through the other books. I do recommend you check this one out. I wouldn't really be paying over cover or much over cover if I was you, because as I've said in these videos, there's a lot of filler in these books, and when you consider that the actual content of the book is probably around a £30–40 sort of hardcover or less, it's not worth throwing hundreds at it, you know, unless you're a die-hard kind of collector. But then just wait it out, do a search on eBay and wait until someone sells it at a decent price. As always though, guys, comment below if you do have these books, if you've kind of read them, and let me know what your kind of thoughts are on this one below. And I'd love to hear if you guys are planning on kind of picking it up, how you're looking at doing that, and what your kind of budget around this is. Rate this video if you want to see more like this one. Hit that notification bell if you want to know when those videos drops. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.